The Supreme Court has constituted a bench for the hearing in the same-sex marriage case. The issue regarding legal recognition for same-sex marriage to be heard by a 5-judge bench led by Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud. The bench comprising of CJI D.Y. Chandrachud, Justices Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Ravindra Bhatt, Hima Kohli and P.S. Narasimha to begin hearing the petitions on Tuesday, April 18. Nalini Sharma is in fact joining us live at the moment. Nalini, a big step as far as this entire case goes because a lot of spotlight has been on this case.
Yes, Pallavi, and if you remember the last time around when the hearing had happened, while the Supreme Court was deciding how to go about the arguments, it was the centre that had suggested the matter be referred actually to a 5-judge bench because it included and involved certain important constitutional questions, especially regarding the fundamental rights of those coming in from the LGBT community. So keeping that in mind, the Supreme Court had referred the matter to a 5-judge bench, and now finally this 5-judge bench has been constituted. Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud, who has been an icon when it comes to LGBT rights in India, who's known for his judgment in the Navteej Singh Johar case that had decriminalized Section 377, is himself leading this bench along with several other eminent judges, including the second senior most judge in the Supreme Court right now, Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul. So from Tuesday is when this hearing is going to start before the Supreme Court. It's going to be extremely crucial for equal rights for the LGBT community because for a long time they have now been demanding for legal recognition of same-sex marriages so that they can be given the equal rights as spouses in heterosexual marriages. So keeping that in mind, it's going to be a very important hearing. From Tuesday, the Constitution Bench is going to start hearing the matter, and it's going to take some time for the Constitution Bench to conclude the hearing and finally come up with its judgment. But Tuesday is when it's kicking off, so lots to watch out for in the coming week.
Nalini, at the outset you did mention about some of the constitutional questions that need to be addressed when, of course, looking into this matter. Could you throw some light on that?
Well, Pallavi, if you remember, when Section 377 was decriminalized and the landmark judgment regarding homosexuality had come in from the Supreme Court had categorically said that although they are decriminalizing homosexuality, all of the corresponding rights like right to marriage, right to property, any spousal support, all of those questions the Supreme Court's not going to get into at that point. They had left those questions open for future litigation. And recently, over the past couple of years, we've seen petitions come up before different high courts as well as the Supreme Court asking for same-sex marriages to be legally recognized under the Special Marriage Act. Because right now, the Special Marriage Act only talks about marriage between two persons, but they interpret that to be a man and a woman and not same-sex marriages. So keeping this in mind, a lot of petitioners from the LGBT community itself had approached the Supreme Court and various high courts asking for these matters to be taken up. Now, the Supreme Court had decided that they are going to be taking up all the matters themselves. That's why all the matters from across the high courts in the country had been transferred to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court, over the past couple of months, has been deciding how to go about this hearing, considering the crucial questions it involves. Now, the centre had specifically stated in the last hearing that this is a very important constitutional matter because it's going to set the course for future constitutional rights for the LGBT community, along with bringing about changes in the marriage laws that exist as of now. Okay. So he'd asked for it to be heard by a 5-judge bench, which is now going to happen from Tuesday onwards.
Okay, Nalini Sharma, thank you so much for bringing us all of those details.